Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman on midweekpolitics.com.
Hey, welcome back to Midweek Politics. I'm David Pakman. Make sure to visit us on the web at midweekpolitics.com. Recently, we had the chance to sit down with Iraq War veteran Tyler Boudreau. We actually spoke with him for about 30 minutes, and the entire interview is available with video on our members podcast. So log on to midweekpolitics.com/membership to get the full interview. We'll play the first segment for you now. Take a listen. Tyler Boudreau is a 12-year veteran of the Marine Corps Infantry and author of Packing Inferno, The Unmaking of a Marine, a book which I've read cover to cover. Thanks for coming in today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So when did you originally join the military?
I enlisted out of high school at 18 years old in 1989.
What made you join then?
I joined for kind of a collection of the usual reasons. I wasn't interested in going to college. I wanted some adventure. I was interested in the nobility of serving and the camaraderie and, just like I said, a usual collection of reasons. And of course, at the time there was no war, so that didn't factor into my decision. At that time we were still in that Cold War mode, and the idea of the enemy was the Soviet Union and the regiments of tanks that they had, and et cetera, et cetera. So when I envisioned conflict, that was that's what my imagination conjured.
And what were your first, 2, 3, 4 years like?
Well, I served in the infantry throughout my time in the Marine Corps, but my first year was 89 and 93, and for the first 2 years I was actually stationed as a guard in New Jersey, which was a disappointing post, just because I was in New Jersey, but also because the Gulf War came along.
Right.
And as infantry Marines, we all wanted to participate, and this had a completely different flavor than the reputation of the Vietnam War. Had sort of gotten this very unpopular feel for it over the decades. I mean, I wasn't even very old enough to know about it when I was little, but the Gulf War was extremely popular, and it seemed like everybody was for it, and I wanted to participate, and I missed out on that, so I was disappointed about that.
So skip ahead to 9/11.
Yeah.
Was that the time at which being in the military, and you have kind of a longer period where we can discuss this than some of the people that joined after 9/11 to kind of observe.
Yeah.
Did things change at that point within the military?
Well, let me tell you about what I go through personally. In summary, I get out of the military as my enlisted time, and I go to college, and I join the ROTC.
What year is
an
that?
Officer. This is from 93 to 97.
Okay.
And this is an officer accession program. And during that time, there is Somalia and there's Yugoslavia, both actions of which I've missed. And then I go back to the infantry as an officer, and from about 98 to 2000, and the world is all quiet, and I start to think of myself as the world's greatest peacekeeper, because every time they put a rifle in my hands, there's no war. I can't and as the years go by and I gain seniority and I gain time in, and everybody else is sort of getting their combat experience, for me this has become a real social and professional pressure. Why aren't you going to war? It's almost like I'm avoiding it, and of course it's just not like that. But
but separate from the pressure being put on you from outside and the questions, were you personally disappointed?
Sure,
You
absolutely,
were.
yeah. I mean, I was disappointed because that was the culture I was in. I mean, it wasn't like I was living back in Western Mass. I was in the Marine Corps Infantry, and this is what we do. We're warriors, and we want to, get a chance to test our mettle. This is what most Marines want. Of course, and this is the sort of the dichotomy that civilians a lot of times don't get. I mean, and part of us is saying, well, no, of course we don't want war in general, but then again, this part of us is like, well, we're warriors. We want to fight. We want to, have a chance. And that, goes, sort of swells in me over the years. And when you ask about 9/11, I was ready to go. All this was, of course I was upset about the Trade Center and the other attacks, as many Americans were, but also it triggered this, like, okay, here's my impetus for war.
So what's the first thing? I mean, where were you when you found out what happened?
Training recruits at boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp in San Diego.
And somebody comes up to you, so that there it was 5:45 in the morning, is that right, when it actually happened, 8:45 a.m. Eastern?
I was off that day, so I was asleep, and actually my wife had called me and said, turn on the television. And so, right away I see it, I go crazy, I cut my hair and, go into work that day even though I was off and go see my recruits and tell them what's happening because they don't have access to news and whatnot. So, and then of course, very close thereafter, we invade Afghanistan and I'm on the depot, missing out again. And
why does that? I mean, was it a planned thing? Had you been in long enough where you didn't have to go, or why did it work out that way?
That's the way it works. If you're on a post, that's where you are. If you're on a deployable post, then you deploy, and if you're on a non-deployable post, you don't.
It's total chance. For you, it happened to be that's where you were at the time.
Total chance. So and an unfortunate chance from my point of view at the time. So. And now I'm training recruits. These are young guys just come in. They've been in for 3 months and they're shipping off. And there's part of me that's jealous. Like, oh, these guys, these young guys, for 4 months and they're going. And here I am, 10 years, and still not. Where's my chance?
Right.
And so there's this growing pressure. And then Iraq comes along, and we have this what's presented to the public is this idea of preventive invasion and the weapons of mass destruction. And I have to say that at that time I started to feel a little reluctant. I wasn't completely jazzed with the idea, and it had nothing to do with my political sensibilities because I really didn't have any. I was apolitical and didn't pay much attention.
You had been in the military from the time at which many people just begin to start thinking about politics. So in a sense, your entire experience was not seen as a Republican, a conservative, liberal. You were in the military.
Yeah, and I think that's very common. I mean, people attribute conservatism to the military, and culturally speaking, that's probably accurate. But politically, my experience was that guys were just generally apolitical because I think that they viewed their service as this is my role, this is what I do politically, and I can't go taking one side or the other. My role is to follow orders. Right. So it's easy to just kind of put it to the background. So what happens with me is I feel this kind of reluctance about Iraq, and it was on the basis of my service as a Marine. I said, this just doesn't feel Marine to me. We don't attack people, do we? I always thought of myself as one defending something, standing up for those who couldn't. But this idea of attacking, I was having difficulty reconciling that. So what happens is, but meanwhile, by the way, I still have this longing to go.
For the action side.
That's right. So
let me pick up there for a second. Lewis has a friend who's also a friend of mine who I think he served time in the Marines. Did he go in right after high school as well?
Yes.
What's your sense of him politically? I mean, I know now he voted for Obama, for example. I think he somewhat identifies as a liberal, but did he have the same kind of experience where it wasn't about politics, he was just in the military?
I'm not really sure. I think he probably had a similar experience. He grew up in what I'm assuming is a liberal household,
right?
And for the most part, anyway, and just kind of that was his thing. But I don't think he was ever very political to begin with.
So not uncommon. Okay, so that was first part of our interview with Tyler Boudreau. There's close to another half hour, and we've put it up already on the Members Podcast. So it really gets into some pretty fascinating stuff. Log on to midweekpolitics.com. Top left corner of your screen, you can get on to the membership program and hear the rest of it. We'll take a break and we'll come back after this with Mike Papantonio. We'll talk about the Ground Zero Mosque, as well as the BP oil spill and much more. Stay tuned.
Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman on midweekpolitics.com.
Midweek Politics is made possible in part by CSR Wire, the corporate social responsibility newswire at csrwire.com, by DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.